Dear all, welcome to VJTECHTALKS. Today we will work together to execute ADF real-time scenario 6. In our previous episode, we discussed how pagination works when your API does not support pagination or limit while reading the data, then how to deal. Let me explain you the difference between our previous scenario and the current one. Let's assume your API does not support pagination. This means there is no limit to the amount of data retrieved in a single page. We deal with such cases by leveraging ADF looping mechanism. You can refer the scenario number 5 video. On the other hand, if your API supports pagination, the metadata at the end of each page, a limit to read data page by page based on the specific configurations. In this episode, we will explore the scenario where the API supports pagination. We will approach this scenario step by step. I have already created a pipeline for our convenience. Here is the pipeline. Let's review the design and source API. Here I have a web activity. In the web activity, we have a URL. This URL, I'm using the open source URL to implement this scenario. And here we have a get. We use the get call to retrieve the data from the open source URL to demonstrate data retrievals. Let's copy this URL and paste it here. Review the code. See here ID number 1, it starts from ID number 1. At the end, it ends with ID 30. The reason behind that, why we are seeing only 30 records here. If you look at the end of this JSON file, you have 340 records and the skip is 0 and the limit is 30. So which means that when you copy this website URL multiple times, you can analyze it. Every time it returns the same number of records, which means 30 records, right? So then how to read this remaining 340 remaining records, this total 340 records with the help of ADF? That's what we have implemented in this pipeline. If you look at here we are doing nothing, just we are sending a get call to the open source URL and we are retrieving the 340 records. But if you look at manually, if you look at the web URL, you can see that 1 to 30 records only. Now the next, in the copy data activity, the source configuration, if you review the source configuration, we have created a pagination rule here. The pagination rule, the range, it starts from the 1 and ends with the 0. Typically, if you keep 1, what happens here? You can see that it start reading the record from the second. And if you start that range from 0, it starts from the 1. We'll see that we'll review this one at the output file. And see here, every time you are dynamically reading the record count. Here you will see that 340 number, isn't it? So we will review all this while executing. And here I am taking the relative URL offset value. In our side, the offset value is 0 for the first time. The next time, what is the offset value? 31st, 31, 31. The next time it's go to 61, like that. Is keep on, it's increasing until it reaches the 348th record, isn't it? Now this relative URL I'm just supplying here. So if you look at here, this is our base URL and this is our relative URL. Now let's go back to the sync configuration. In the sync configuration, we have the syncs dataset, and where I am writing this output file into the our ADLS Gen 2 storage account. Here are the dynamic parameters I am passing, the folder name and as well as the file name. Okay, let me execute this. We'll see the results, how typically it looks like. Now it's executing. Perfect. Let me review that input. See, here it is reaching out to the so-and-so the X open source URL. The JSON comments, the JSON object is trying to retrieve the get call. Now you can see here the output window that starts from 1 and you're getting the 30th record. The reason behind that, as I said, this is what the whole the backbone of reading this 30 records, right? Backbone logic, I can say. So now let's look at the source side. What exactly we are getting here? We have a pagination logic we already implemented at the source configuration. The range, if you look at here, it starts 1 and ends with and 30, and total record 340. Now let me go to this output and we can review how many records it read. If you data read is at 74,690, and also this file written is 1, and you can see that rows read 12 and rows copy 12. What is 12 actually here? We know that we have a 340 records, but if you're looking at this one, the object read is 12 and it's written 12. What does it mean? If you look at, as you know that every time in the configuration you have mentioned the pagination configuration that every time that offset value is 1 to 30, which means total number of sets is 12. 340 records it is reading in sets. 1 to 30 is one set, and 31st to and 60 and other set, like that. Similarly it is reading until it reaches the 340th record. Let me quickly go through this our output file and we can see that. Okay, let me refresh here. See, just now we have here 300, yeah, today only executed. And if you look at 340 records I'm expecting here, click on edit. Look at, guys. So here, see, as I said, it starts with the second and ends with 336, 37, 37, and I can say that here 340th record. See the total number of records we successfully read from the URL, right? And also there's one more catchy here. As I said, always this is the incremental value, the skip, and also that see it's always in. See, last one total record 340 and 241. It starts from 241, the skip record 241, right? And the limit is reaches to 30 again, the 30 records. See, 181, and also this everywhere wherever you see that, and see is keep on increasing. The skip values keep on increasing, and the limit is 30 record. Each set we are expecting 30 record. With this we conclude our scenario. Now it's time to test your knowledge. If you have any questions, please post in comment section below and I will reply as soon as possible. See you in the next episode of VJ Tech Talks. Bye bye.